This week on the Delaware Way, the mayor of Wilmington is here with good news about the crime rate in the city, and he announces a new slogan for Wilmington. This is the Delaware Way. Welcome to the Delaware Way. I'm Larry Menti. There was a time when Wilmington, Delaware was labeled Murder Town, USA. We are a long way from that. There's actually some good news when it comes to the murder rate and violent crime in Delaware and in Wilmington. And here to talk about that is Wilmington Mayor Mike Burzicki. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here again. You do have reason to smile a little bit because after a record last year for violent crime in Wilmington, which I'm certain you were concerned about since you came into office saying you were going to fight that, you're going in the right direction this year.
Yes, Larry. We had, needless to say, when we came in office, crime was almost the singular issue that people worried about, and it was defining our community. It was defining our city. People were moving out because they were afraid this violence was not tameable, and so we did a national search for a chief. We got Bob Tracy out of Chicago and New York to come in here and bring in data-driven policing methods, CompStat methods, and things have changed dramatically. We have our homicides down about a third, but the shootings and the victims are down 50 and 60%. So we've cut violent crime in half.
There still is a nagging problem of solving some of these murders. There's still a nagging problem of people that kill someone being put away for life or standing trial. I would think that the community relations that he pushes would help in that regard. It doesn't seem to have helped.
Yeah, I think it does. You know, in the long run, I think it does. The chief's been here just a little over a year. We've been here a year and a half. I think those relationships take time to build, but you would imagine that in time that you'll have people coming forward. I think a lot of people come forward to tell what they know, but they're not willing to testify because out of fear of reprisal. And so I think that makes it difficult to to solve some of these, to close some of these cases.
No, I understand, especially in shooting deaths across the country, especially in certain neighborhoods that are high crime neighborhoods. It's very difficult. The rate is under 50% for solving those crimes almost across the board. So I get it. Doesn't mean that it can't be solved, though. It doesn't mean that you still don't want to go after that.
No, I agree. I think, in the type of crime, when you see the violent crime that occurs in this city, they tend to be very personal things. These are transactional. They're people who have personal beefs, or they have illicit business dealings that go awry. These are the things that wind up in the high incidence of homicide that we have. In many cases, it's personal. We've had 3 or 4 stabbings deaths take place within homes. So it's not like this. It's not like people have this perception that there's this shooting going on all over the place. It's not. It's very isolated, and it's isolated demographically as well as locationally.
It has to be frustrating sometimes when you hear these murder numbers. And again, I want to underscore the good news that the shootings are going down and the murders are going down, but it's per capita. And so you look at other cities that have the Chicago that has a horrible murder rate and 50, 60 shootings every weekend, and then you understand what's happening in Wilmington. It's because of your population that it looks worse.
It's true. The other thing that happens in Wilmington, I think, which is, it takes a longer study, but, Wilmington has not had the ability to annex property for half a century. And so where other cities have kind of expanded boundaries into suburban locations, the city of Wilmington hasn't changed its boundaries in forever. And so if you averaged in the suburban areas around us, a couple of miles in every direction, you'd see much different crime rates.
I've talked to business leaders. I talked to the Chamber of Commerce. I've talked to many people in Delaware that get frustrated with the murder rate and the way it's been for the last few years in Wilmington, because it seems to become the identity of the city, and so it hurts businesses. It's difficult to attract businesses to come here for that because they just Google Wilmington and they see Murder Town. I know you're working on changing that perception. There's a new branding effort.
Yeah, in fact, yesterday would have been the day when we rolled out our entire marketing and branding campaign, and we didn't do it because of the weather. But it's let's see, a week from this Friday, we're going to do it in Rodney Square, and we're going to go out and roll out what we think is our story. And, Wilmington has a wonderful story. I can't tell you the number of times that we have people come visit who are visibly shocked by what an attractive city it is, because they're expecting something far different based on what they see. I just had a travel writer come out of New York last week, and she said, my only disappointment is I couldn't stay longer. That's what a great time I had down here. Because they're really expecting something else, because to your point, if you Google Wilmington, you're going to get a bunch of the bad stuff hit the first and second pages, and they don't get back past that. So we're going to employ every latest technology available to push all of our good news to the front of the story, so people start seeing what Wilmington positively is. And we're going to kind of, we're going to educate everybody. We're going to go back and rally the troops right here in the city so they kind of wake up to what a terrific city this is. Then we want to go into the suburbs, and after that it's a national effort to tell everybody Wilmington, Delaware is one great city.
I had somebody in here, and what they told me sticks with me, and it was years ago when I talked about the crime rate in Wilmington, and they looked at me and they said, not downtown, not where the business is. He said, if you go to the Christiana Mall, they have a higher crime rate than we have in downtown Wilmington.
Yeah.
It's certain neighborhoods.
Yeah, no, I think that's true. And so these statistics can be pretty jarring. If there's a shark attacked in the water, nobody goes in the water for
Right.
200 miles, although the chances of getting bitten again by the shark are 1 in a million. But emotionally, there is a response to it. So we're going to try to change that emotional response to the city, and I think it's going to be very effective.
So in this marketing campaign, do you have a slogan?
It's time.
It's time.
It's time. It's time for, and just fill in the blanks, And I have to tell you, I love it. I think the whole campaign that was put together with some of our local entrepreneurs as well as national put together something really terrific. So
And
we're really
who will
excited.
see this now?
I think you're going to see. Well, we're going to promote it locally, and the immediate region, but then we want to have a national effort to go out and just start to promote the city.
It's nice to do it locally. I understand the reason for that. You want people to feel good about where they live, and you want them to stay here, and you want the businesses to stay here. But if you don't go out and start marketing...
No, we're definitely going to go out in this entire region. And
That takes money, though.
It does. It's taken a lot of money. We're raising money with the private sector. We've got some great private sector partners who believe in the city as we do and want to promote the city as well. So, in fact, I would say that the best part of the effort has been through our private partners. They're really pushing hard to do things at a very high level. Sometimes government just gets constrained by its budgets and then winds up shooting too low. And I think these folks say, no, if you're going to do this, you're going to have to do it at the level that we're used to doing it. We're going to do it at a very high level. So we're really pleased with what we're
that's
seeing.
all great. I think a lot of people will hear about the marketing campaign and the branding campaign and not only say it's time, but
Yeah.
finally.
Yeah.
We're coming back with Mayor Mike Purzycki right after this.